Hey guys, update in the Manson versus Gore case. There was an entry on the docket several days ago indicating a protective order had been issued. Just couldn't see it yet, but it's now public, and it is a confidentiality order similar to the one in the Bianco case and also the Jane Doe case. And it allows the parties to mark evidence as confidential, which means it's not going to be public anytime soon. That includes not only documents and things, but deposition testimony as well. So you can imagine that this order is entered before Illma Gore gives her deposition, and her attorneys could mark that confidential. In fact, under the order, they could mark it all confidential and then narrow that down later, I think within a month. But it's going to be a pretty short deposition anyway. So this order was agreed to between all the parties prior to it being entered, similar to the other orders. This is not something that was imposed by the court onto the parties. They all had to agree to this. So now there's a protective order in place in essentially all the active cases, because there's one here, there's one in the Bianco case, and there's one in the Jane Doe case. Walter's case is on appeal, and Smith-Lyon's case, she's in essentially limbo until the deadline runs out and she shows up with another lawyer, decides to represent herself, or the court may dismiss it at that point. But I don't think there's any action happening there because of the court's order after the attorney's withdrawal. So unfortunately, for people who are, like I say, who are interested in kind of knowing all the facts that you can about the cases, that's not going to happen, because in all the cases now there's a confidentiality designation. So there could be material things, good or bad, for any party that you just won't know anytime soon. Now remember, typically these orders, they don't control at trial, okay? And they can be contested. So if some party is making things confidential that shouldn't be, the other party, the other side, can contest that. Why would you waste your time, though, unless it was really important? But when it comes to trial, these things will be reevaluated at that point, assuming there's ever a trial, which the historical odds of litigation suggest there will not be. But you never know. Some of these celebrity cases have been going to trial a lot recently, so maybe so. I guess we'll see at that point. But for the foreseeable future, these cases are probably going to have the exciting things are going to be under seal, it appears to me, at least. I shouldn't say under seal, that's if they get filed in court, but they'll be confidential between the parties at least. And then if they are filed at court, they probably would be under seal at that point. You just won't see them right now. So that's unfortunate, but it's the way that it is. And at any rate, these cases were due essentially to slow down, because once the anti-SLAPP is ruled on, it's going to go on appeal anyway. Now, the orders that result from the confidential information, that should be public, at least the non-confidential part. So even if the deposition is marked confidential and some of the supporting evidence, et cetera, in theory, once the court makes its decision on anti-SLAPP, you'll at least know what the decision is and the non-confidential parts of that. So it won't block access to knowing what's going on in the case. It's just going to block access to some of the facts in the case. So we talked a little bit, I think, in the last video on the Manson cases about the secret evidence and the potential for it to expand. It has expanded. It's kind of now covering almost the whole universe of all the cases. And wanted to get that out there and let you know. And that's basically it at this point. We're still waiting for some more orders to come down in the Bianco case that will tell us where things stand on depositions and the like. But even when those depositions go forward, it's highly unlikely you're going to know what happened in them, because they'll probably be confidential. All right. Thanks.